First off, one of the things we challenged our guys last week was getting off to a fast start, and really harped on that from the beginning of the week all the way into pregame, because we knew that was going to be big on the road, and really proud of couldn't have got off to much of a quicker start than we did, getting the two quick touchdowns early. And then I think sometimes you get to a point where you think it's going to be easy, but it never is easy. And so the next two possessions, turning the ball over, the fumbles, I think really obviously stalled our momentum. And but one thing I was proud about is our guys didn't panic. Very similar to maybe some situations we've had at NC State on the road, where things didn't quite go like we wanted for a little while. Our guys stayed locked in, and when we executed, obviously we moved the ball, had some uncharacteristic penalties that hurt us on a few of the drives. It caused us to punt, had a couple of drops. But ultimately our message to our guys today will be the same message we've had all year, which is it's all about us and it's all about our execution. And when we do the things that we're supposed to do, then we got a chance to be really special and move the ball. And we did that for a large part of the game. We moved the ball and did some really good things. Just a little bit frustrating in a few of the penalties and a few of the things that stalled some of the drives. Wake Forest, they got 8 or 9 starters back on defense, playing really well. They went on the road to South Bend last week, held a talented Notre Dame offense to 282 total yards, and 98 of those 282 yards came on one play. So outside of that one play, they held Notre Dame under 200 yards at South Bend. So I don't think it'll take a lot to get our guys' attention whenever they turn on the video. It was a battle up there last year, and as you turn on the video, looks like majority of those guys are back again this year. And but it'd be exciting playing at home. Senior Day is always a exciting day for our players. They take a lot of pride in that, and I know having the opportunity to have the 43rd victory for this senior class, which would be the most ever for any senior class at Clemson, to be able to do that on Senior Day at home. I think we got a lot of things obviously to focus on this week, but really offensively our focus is going to be on eliminating the mistakes, the errors, and being able to play the very best that we can. A lot of coachable opportunities off this video, and that's really what we're going to focus on today as we go back and review it, the things that we did well and some of the things that we can improve on here as we get ready for the stretch here at the end. So with that, I'll open it up for any questions. Yeah, I think we'll know more later in the week. I know we got banged up a little bit there at the end, but really haven't heard much this early in the week to know his status. I'm sure Coach Sweeney will probably handle that later in the week as we see what he can do out there. In my role as the offensive coordinator, I would like to defer all those injury questions to Coach Sweeney, because he'll do a great job with that. I really don't think that we're overly concerned about injuries right now. I think this time of year you get some nicks and bruises, and so overall it's not a major concern, but I'll let Coach Sweeney answer that when he chooses to later in the week.
Are you at a point now where a lot of, as you come down to the end of the schedule, are there things that you fine tune? Are there major correction things to deal with, or where are you in terms of progressing?
Yeah, well, I think it's always important to focus on yourself, as the season goes, and obviously we're having a special year and there's a lot of distractions and everything that are out there. So our big message to our guys is, hey, let's put all our focus and attention on us and what we can do to get better. And I mean, nobody's ever played a perfect game, and we're definitely not close to that right now. So that's really where we're, just like every week, we're spending our time finding things that we can correct, finding things we can do better. And then I think as offensive coaches, we're looking back at the body of work, what we've put on tape, what our tendencies are, What are a few, there's a fine balance that you want to continue to do the things that you're doing well, but you also maybe want to find a few new ways to do it so that your tendencies, are not too telling to the defense. So there's a little bit of that going on, but ultimately, our message has not changed, and that's the best part about what we've been doing is we have a consistent message with our guys. They know when they come in today what we're going to do, what we're going to focus on, and our guys believe in the process that we have and the way that our week's set up, and have really bought into that more than just hearing it as coaches speak. So there's still plenty of things that we can correct, and we want to be playing our best ball right here at the end. That's our goal, and I think we have a chance to do that.
Deshaun isn't perfect. He's pretty doggone good, but as a coach, can you quantify how well he's playing from a coach's standpoint?
Yeah.
This is where he is right now.
I mean, obviously it's been overstated. He's very special. I think maybe 2 weeks in a row he's had over 400 yards maybe, all-purpose. And, as fans you can turn on the TV or go to the game and see a lot of the plays that he makes. But I think as coaches, some of the best plays that he makes or best things that he does, no one would know. And that's really making a decision where to go with the ball in certain situations. And, I think, in my opinion, of all the attributes that he has and strengths that he has, I think his decision-making at the line of scrimmage and when the ball is snapped is as good as I've ever seen and ever been around. And, he just gets us out of bad looks and gets us into good situations. But he's got things that he wants to correct and go back on. But, I think, we're all witnessing, one of the best players at Clemson to play and how he finishes up here this year and, the rest of his career, I think will really tell the true tale of his ability at Clemson. But he's very special, and we're going to go offensively how he goes right now, and he's doing a great job. And also his leadership has increased, and our guys are, they're listening to him. He's doing a good job on the sidelines, talking to the guys and encouraging the guys, especially in some difficult situations. A few moments in the game where maybe it got a little bit difficult. He's over there talking to the wideouts, communicating on things that we want to do in the next series. So he's really special. I'm glad we got him on our team for sure.
He's over 100 yards, over 100 carries, close to 600 yards, scored 5 games. Are those stats reflective of how much you thought he would tuck it in Bryant this year, coming off the game?
Yeah, well, I think one thing we're very pleased with is the durability that he's shown. Throughout it wasn't a major question with him coming out of high school because he really didn't get hurt in high school, and then obviously last year had a few of those injuries that popped up. And, we wanted to, early on in the year, we weren't as aggressive in running him. Just knew he'd get a certain number of carries on his own just in scrambles, and then as the year has gone, he wants to run the ball. He came over to the sideline a couple times and said, hey, I want the ball in my hands on 3rd down. And I think that right there from your quarterback, especially a talented guy like him, that says a lot. That, he's wanting to carry the ball, but he's got so many different ways that he can run it. Not all of those are designed quarterback runs. Some of them he has the ability to run if he sees certain looks, and it's just one of the 3 choices he has in the plays. But there's no doubt about it. His ability to run has been a difference maker for our offense this year.
Does he want to run it more than Taj did?
Yeah, they were just so different in a lot of ways. But Taj wanted the ball on 3rd and 1. He wanted to run downhill, and he was going to get that 1 to 2 yards in short yardage situations. I really think, Deshaun, when he drops back for a pass, he really wants to throw the ball. He feels very good about being able to get the ball out there. But he also understands the value that his legs bring and how difficult it is for a defense to be able to cover the field, cover the skill guys, and then also rally to the quarterback. So, you know, you'd have to ask him that question, but it was the first time that I've been in a game where he's come over and, you know, and told us, hey, 3rd and short, I want the ball in my hands. I want to go get it. And you can see that look in his eyes. That was pretty good to see. Yeah, I think so. I think that's what you see, and I've said it several times. When you're watching him, you see the things you'd like to see out of a 3rd or 4th year quarterback, a guy that's just had a lot of experience. But no question, his poise in the pocket and not panicking and moving around and you know, being able to stay in there and make some of the throws, and then also being able to find some of those lanes and you know, go get those extra yards when they're there. But, you know, that's who Deshaun is. I mean, he's very even keel on the field and off the field. It just feels like the game's slow for him a little bit out there, which is not normal. But I would definitely agree. He's a guy that does not panic in the pocket, and because of that, he's able to find a lot of hidden yardage in some of those plays.
Would you be shocked if he doesn't end up in New York?
Yeah, I can't. I'm not going to get into that. I just know that. I mean, he's obviously the leader on our offense, on an offense that's having a lot of success, on a team that's having a lot of success. So I think that all those things are important. You know, but if we keep taking care of our job, winning games, and he keeps leading our offense, he's going to get plenty of opportunities to get recognized at the end of the year.
Coach, would it be fair to say that it sounds like the offense and maybe Deshaun have evolved over the season because maybe he gets A, more experience, and B, he's more safe with his health, more confident about his health?
Yeah, you know, I would just say, you know, I really after the Notre Dame game, I think from the Notre Dame game on, our offense, Deshaun, and really everybody in our offense, I think has had a lot of confidence in what we're doing. I mean, obviously, the sign of a good offense, the sign of a good team is improving each week. And, you know, I don't think that we've reached our peak offensively and what we can do, and I don't think our guys feel like that, you know, we've reached our peak yet. So I think that's a good thing. But, you know, I think we've had a lot of confidence in that group, and I think our guys, they just want to find a way to get better. And now we're getting to the point where it's frustrating when you don't score a touchdown, you know, and you have to sit there and you walk off the field a little bit frustrated, and then you go back and watch the video, and it's touchdown. You know, you got a lot of touchdown drives and getting points, but, you know, our guys, every time they get on the field, you know, they want to go put it in the end zone. And so I think just got a lot of confidence, and a lot of that comes from execution and having a quarterback that knows what he's doing.
Where do you think Deion's level is right now as far as just knowing what to do, having confidence, and just playing fast?
Yeah, he's getting better and better, obviously. Seems like I say that each week, but he really is. And I think for him, it was a decision he made, you know, probably around after he sat out the Miami game. I think he figured out this is pretty serious, and he knows that he has an ability that can help us this year. And I've been very pleased with his work ethic. It's really improved over the last 4 or 5 weeks. And, you know, for a young guy to be able to go out there and have that type of success, you know, on the road at NC State versus good secondary, and then obviously Florida State, and now, you know, this past week at Syracuse, you know, I mean, there's nothing better for a young, talented player to go out and have success and just have that confidence. I think it makes it a little bit easier for him each game, and we'll continue to find ways to get him the ball. And equally as pleased with Sharon Peak. You know, I think they've, you know, the beginning of the year, obviously we were all disappointed in Mike Williams' injury, and that was going to be a big question that everybody had, is how you're going to replace Mike. And, you know, our answer was we're not going to replace him with one person, but hopefully we get some really good play from the other guys. And, you know, I think right now Sharon and Deion, you know, are a great 1-2 punch there in the boundary at our 9-man position. And I haven't looked specifically at what their totals and all that have been the last 3 or 4 weeks, but I would say we're getting a lot of great execution from that position right now. Both of those guys are doing well.
Seems like since Sharon, I've watched him with the great block down in Miami that helps bring Deshaun. Saw another one Saturday, then I saw him run over a defensive back after a tunnel screen. What switch has kind of flipped for him to where he's just more aggressive?
Well, I'm just very happy for him that he's playing his best ball right here at the end. I mean, he's a guy that as a coach you feel for because he's very talented and he's just had a lot of things that he couldn't control. They were out of his control with the injuries and different things. And by the time he would get back, there were other guys that maybe established their roles, some talented guys with obviously Nuke and Sammy and Martavis. And Sharon's just been that guy that's been very just kind of persistent, worked his way through it. And but I mean, he's definitely playing his best ball right here at the right time at the end of the year, and I think he's playing very confident. I think Deshaun and him are on the same page. I think that's difficult a little bit for a quarterback. One of the things we like to do is rotate a lot of receivers, like to play 6 or 7 guys a game, and it definitely has strong benefits to doing that. But also one of the challenges is your quarterback having the right timing with that many different people. And I think Sharon and Deshaun have gotten on the same page here these last few weeks and feel very good about their timing and their connection. And I'm hoping to see, continued success by Sharon here as we finish the year.
Other than the growth Deshaun has shown much of it anticipated, what's the one area that would look back over the first 10 games and say this is what's made us to this point?
Yeah, without a doubt, it's the offensive line. That's no question about it. And really, we were talking to our offense the other day. One of the things when Coach Morris first got to Clemson, what was that, 2011, and all these years were running together. He had on our offensive manual and everything that we handed out to the offense, it said most explosive offense in the country. And I can remember looking at that and thinking about 2010. I would say, well, that's about the opposite of where we were last year. And but really, I think over the last 4.5 years, we're kind of putting ourselves in that category as being one of the most explosive offenses in the country. And my message to our offense is the reason we're able to do that. Yes, we've got a lot of great skill guys, but the reason we're able to do that is because of the guys up front. And without the guys up front doing their job and doing it really well, we don't have time to throw the ball to some of the skills players that we have. We don't have the openings for Wayne and our running backs to be able to make those runs. And so, I feel like without a doubt the offensive line has been, the offensive line has been one of the key elements that's made our offense as successful as we've been this year. And really coming back with a group where you had 4 new starters coming in, and then you lose your 1 returning starter and Ryan Norton. So really you've got 5 new starters out there. And for those guys to go from being one of the biggest question marks to being one of the biggest strengths this year, I think says a lot about the job that Robbie Caldwell's done in that room with the offensive line. He's done a great job. And then Eric McLean with the leadership, and Jay Guillermo has really stepped up. But I would say looking back over 10 games, the offensive line has probably been the biggest thing that's allowed us to have the success we've had outside of our skill guys.
While it would be easy to overstate that Mitch is the last piece of that puzzle, the thing that most seems to intrigue me a good bit is the evolution of an Eric McLean and everything that Jay has come through to get to this point. And those might be, in my mind, the best stories on the offense.
All right.
Am I wrong?
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, Eric's evolution
Right.
as an inside guy.
Right.
And then Jay coming through his thing.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think that's what football is all about. Coach Sweeney does a great job of really showing our guys examples of how football is really just a great example of how life is, and how there's several years in there where I know Jay didn't have the success that he wanted, being a highly recruited guy coming out of high school, and then same thing for Eric coming here as a tight end, getting moved to offensive line. You know, it's kind of the start off at offensive tackle, and then you move down to guard. But just the perseverance that those guys have. And I think, to be honest, they're a great example of our football team. You know, I mean, it's easy from the outside to look at some of the top skill guys that are ultra talented that come in and have success. But I think if you look back over the last 5 years of 10+ wins, we've done it with a lot of guys that have kind of been those blue-collar guys that have really had to work hard, had to persevere a lot throughout their career. And, you know, maybe by their junior or senior year, they're a big-time contributor. You know, last year I think about a guy like Reed Webster, who didn't hardly play at all his first 4 years here. And last year there probably wasn't a more valuable player on our offense than Reed Webster, who played every position on the offensive line throughout last season. So it just seems like we've had a lot of those guys, and I think that kind of goes to the culture that Coach Sweeney's really worked hard to create and build. Is, you know, we're not just trying to build and have the best team we can have that one year. We're really trying to build a program that really, you know, it provides opportunity for growth. And we're not a program that's going to go out and just sign 6 junior college guys because maybe the freshman and sophomore that we have, we don't think they're quite as good as we thought they were. You know, we're going to spend time and develop the guys. Coach Sweeney's always on us hard as coaches, develop the guys that we have. It's easy to go out in recruiting and want to go try to find guys to come in and replace your guys. But, hey, we recruited all these guys. Let's develop the guys we have on our team. And sometimes those guys had to work that hard to get there. It means a little bit more to them. And I think that's what you're seeing in Eric and in Jay is they didn't have it easy to get to where they are, and it means an awful lot to them and really a lot of those guys in that room.
Could you throw Joe Gore into that same?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Joe's another great example. And really, to be honest, you know, and kind of like you said, outside of Mitch, who maybe just showed up as a freshman, you know, that whole group of offensive linemen, you know, they've kind of been the backups and maybe, you know, haven't had the exposure or, you know, it's easy, obviously, all the skilled guys get a lot of the accolades and attention, and those guys have kind of been the forgotten group back there, and maybe for a while were said to be one of our weaknesses, and they've just come together, worked hard, and have really put themselves in a position to be a big reason we're having the success that we're having. But I just really like the culture in the room. It just feels like it's changed here over the past few years because of guys like Eric and Jay and Joe. Yeah, you know, I think, you know, he had a bunch of catches. I think the good thing for us is that we've had some of these other guys that have been able to come on, and I know Ray is out right now too a little bit, you know, but like, you know, Artavis is fine. You know, he had some opportunities. He made some good plays, and I know he had a couple catches that he wanted to go and make, and maybe, you know, that's all it is for a wideout. It's 1 or 2 plays that really can make a difference. But I think we know what we have in him. We've got a lot of trust in him, and he'll be one of our go-to guys for sure here at the end of this run.
If I can go back to the Deion game for a minute, you alluded to his development in the Miami game. You responded really well to that discipline, despite the fact they had to be a big disappointment for him not playing that one. It seems like you recruited a player with a certain character. You know, does that have more to do? How hard is it to evaluate that during the recruiting process, or does it have more to do with the guys that we're seeing once they get to the program?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we talk about a lot. What I like to say is Clemson recruits, and I think just the environment, the culture, everything about our program and our university, you know, it kind of filters out maybe some of the problems and some of the guys that come in that maybe don't have that maybe are going to be challenged in that area. And that doesn't mean that everybody that we sign is perfect and that they're not going to have trouble, because you're going to have trouble. That's just part of society. But I think the environment that's been created here at Clemson does a really good job of kind of weeding out some of those guys. You know, I mean, if they're looking for the clubs and the nightlife and that's their #1 priority, then they're probably not going to be attracted to Clemson. But if they're looking for a place that's got, great academics, a great family atmosphere, their football is important to them, really trying to be great in football and in school, those kind of young men are attracted to Clemson. And, I don't believe that Clemson's the best and only place for everybody. But I think for a certain group of young men and families that are looking for those things, I think they find Clemson as a great fit. I think Dion was a guy that fit that category. He was able to see some of the guys that came from Florida, where he was from, that came up here and had a lot of success. And he wants to be great. He wants to be a special player. And he also knew that maybe our culture and environment had some things that would be good for him and for his growth off the field as well. And I think that's, what I look back at my time here at Clemson with Coach Sweeney that I'm most proud of is the amount of time that Coach Sweeney spends with our players and our entire coaching staff spend with our players, developing them off the field. And that's easy to say. It's easy coach speak. It's easy recruiting speak. And at a lot of places it probably is just that. But at Clemson it's very real. It's very genuine. And, I think our players and our coaches believe that, Coach Sweeney, that's more important than the football side. It really is. And, I think, Coach Sweeney's belief is if we take care of our players and we help develop them as men and we're doing all those things, there's going to be a lot of things that are going to carry over to the football field, and we're going to have success there as well. And I'm just really proud of that part of our program right now.
Has Mike been rolled out for us to look?
That's a good question for Coach Sweeney. I'm not sure exactly what he said or has not said on that, so y'all can check with him on that.